Happy to meet you once again in Business Doctor. We have been discussing about planning, different types of planning, when to use what kind of planning, and what are all the major activities, sub activities, and tasks in a plan, etc. Obviously, the last element in the plan, which should be an actionable item, and it should produce a definitive output. So if you have to find out what is that definitive output, and that output is going to add value to the organization or to the self. So what are the things which are going to give you that output? One is an understanding of what we are trying to do and what is the level of awareness one has in before executing the task. So that opens up another can of worms, which means that there are a lot of things you may know or you may be aware of, but you have not understood. Or you might have understood it, but you don't know what it all uh, is being surrounded with that particular task or that subject. So, we are going to talk about the knowns and unknowns of the world, which we are trying to use it in the planning action element. So this opens up this topic of a matrix between the knowns and unknowns. Here we are going to talk about what we understand and what we are aware of. And we also discussed in the previous video that every line item should be a problem that should have been resolved by executing the line item. So all these things will add up to the plan and to the goal of the company and to your cardinal rules, which we discussed. So the first one is that you know something, you understand something, and you are trying to do. For example, if you are a kid and as a parent, you would ask the kid to do some Lego blocks to make something happen, or a small kite, or if you are doing with some electronics item, how to fly a small plane or maybe a paper plane, how that goes. So both the parent and the kid knows that the plane flies. There is a level of understanding on that, and there is also an awareness like how aeroplanes work and what it takes to build an aeroplane, even though it is in paper. So here the problem is very obvious. The context of solving that particular problem, like building a Lego block of a house, or or trying to build a small paper plane, the problem what you are trying to solve is very obvious, and there is no risk involved in this case, and it is all facts. Like you can see that in action. So, and you know that plane flies, or if you build a block of some Lego blocks to build a small house, then you know that the house looks like this. You are aware of that, how the house looks like that, and you are able to build using that Lego block in a particular way. There is no complexity, there is no risk involved, just you are trying to build that. This is a known unknown. Like I know how to solve the problem and I understand the problem. So like that, there are many activities in your personal life as well as in a organization where you are trying to execute a task. The same thing might be, you can roll up to higher levels like activity, sub activity or activity, or at the plan level. Okay, so I'm just talking about a task level, how this can be explained. So the first one is the known known. The second one is known unknown. Okay, so in the known unknown, what happens is that you are you are aware of something, but you don't know what exactly is that. So, for example, you know that the sales in a particular region is going to be like this, but you don't know actually how it is going to work. You are aware of that, okay, but you may not understand the dynamics. So you need what kind of analytics or some data mining. So from from a definitive thing which is known to a known unknown is that you are trying to do some kind of analytics, do some kind of forecasting. You may even search in the internet or search in any which way you want to do. So you know something, but you don't know exactly how that is going to work. So you are in that stage of getting to know the unknowns. So you put up a sales plan, for example, or you want to develop a product. It might be a software product or it might be a mechanical product. So you know that this product is going to be like this, but you may not understand exactly how the market is going to react to that. So you development of a product, for example, or a forecasting for from a sales perspective, data mining, that gives you a known unknown. So if you are getting into that level, either at the plan level or activity, sub-activity or task level, any which level, if you are going to explore on known unknown, the kind of it is not a straightaway problem to solve. There are problems to solve, plus there are some small element of risk involved to the extent of whatever you don't know. The next dynamics to that is unknown known. Here, this is a kind of overlap between known unknown to unknown known, in the sense it is on a knowledge level. Okay, for example, an entrepreneur wants to start a business or a company. So you would like to do some kind of an innovation. Innovation might exist in an organization or in your own self at home. You can try some innovative things. Where here you are trying to do something, but there are a lot of other things which you don't know. So innovation is an area where the knowledge is used is an unknown known. It's just a kind of knowledge discovery. Okay, you are trying to do that. The fourth element, which is totally unknown, like you want to know how the solar system works, or sun, how that works, or afforestation, how you want to green from a climate perspective, how you want to do that. So there are you know that you want to do that, but you don't know what are all the things we need to be aware of, what are the things you need to understand. So completely, so it is like a discovery you have to engage with, which means the risk is very high. You may solve the problem or you may not solve the problem. So here, this is not a risk anymore. This is a crisis. Like you don't know what it is and you have to complete certain things. So which means this is not a risk. This is a kind of crisis, at least from an organizational or individual perspective, you need to solve and you do not know what it is. So here it is a discovery where you have to explore and find out till or how long, what you don't know the time scale, you don't know what all the resources you are going to take, you don't know what are all the tools and techniques which you are going to adopt. So it's completely unknown. It might be volatile. It would be completely ambiguous. You don't know what it is going on. So, but only thing is, you know you want to do that. Except that line, there is nothing else you know. So, from that perspective, how your the risk element, or from a problem point of view, that's why you are preparing a plan in the first place. So the known is a simple problem to solve, and you have to just act and you solve the problem or eliminate that issue. It could be even for your studies, like, yeah, you need to pass the exam, so you prepare, and you are aware that, unless you prepare for the exam, you can't pass, so you prepare, write the text, that is the action. So once you clear, then that issue no longer exists. You have cleared the exam. From that level to known unknowns, where there is an element of risk, from there to an unknown, again, it is a kind of knowledge discovery. From there, totally an unknown, which is no more a risk, this is a crisis. So whatever your action plans you need to put in place, all goes with precautions. Precautions on, okay, what happens if this particular thing happens, or what happens if this doesn't happen, or what happens if the pressure in the boiler goes up, what happens if there is a cyber attack or a terror attack, so what happens if the whole thing collapses. So like that, it's all precautions to solve certain crises. Having said that, the the problem statement, if you go to known, it's all simple facts, whereas it's a known unknown, it's all about the questions. If you really look at, if you analyze for yourself, it's all about questions. The third thing is, which is unknown known, there it is a question of experience. I know I have not experienced exactly how this will turn out to be, but by my intuition, based on my experience in the past, for example, okay, I can tell you, or I can predict that this will work or this won't work. So once you gather the experience, as per the industry standard, the so-called industry standard, let's say, once you gather that experience, that's why you are getting hired for at a later date, not for your ability to do the basic stuff of problem solving or trying to find out the answer for the question. So most of the companies, either depending upon your role, we discussed about the roles when we were discussing about the disc which we talked about on a personality development. So if your capability is to solve a problem, it starts with known and stops with fact or problem solving. If you have got a more curiosity to find out what all the questions trying to solve, you will be solving known unknowns. And once you gather the experience over a period of time, or over a period of repeated works and or similar things, and your analytical and aptitude that drives you, then you will be in a position to take intuitive decisions. Okay, so the intuition is going to drive you and give you the expected results. The fourth one, which is the unknown, which is basically, it's just a completely exploration, which is completely discovery in nature, and the kind of plans which you are going to do for these things will be definitely different, that particularly from the point of view of crisis. Having said this, it is going to open out the people's personality, for example, on a leadership with respect to these. Okay, so your leadership styles, etc., will depend exactly on what level of association of all these four things, knowns and unknowns, in that combination you are able to visualize and help people with. That's where the leadership comes. The first three being a bit simple and straightforward. I'm not getting or deep into those three topics. Probably in the next session, what I'll try to do is that how do we handle the unknowns? in terms of a leadership style called VUCA or VUCA, okay, and how that gets back into the planning element. So everything has to tie it back to the plan. Okay, plan need not be what you write on a piece of paper. It could be even a mental plan or a plan towards. Towards that, the organization is moving in that direction to solve some problems. So we'll discuss about VUCA, and then we'll move on to the resources and other things related to plan in the upcoming videos. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Cheers.